I think they also kind of set up in Maverick that Glenn Powell's character and Phoenix character are going to have some type of romance because they hate each other so much. It's very Leia and Han that I think they're going to get together. That's my guess. I'm going to guess it.
Oh
I'm
my
guessing
god.
it.
I can show you an ink blot test and I can make up the blot and you could be like, it's enemies to lovers. I just see it. It's right there in front of me. Hey everybody, welcome to Nerdy and Nice. It's time to talk about all the things we love in movies, TV, and pop culture. Aside from Star Wars, because obviously we have the Resistance broadcast, which we just had a great episode this past Thursday with Spencer Jowitz from the Virtual Cantina Network. So thank you to Spencer for joining us. And we'll be back with you this Thursday to talk more Star Wars because we're back in our regular rotation over there, which means we're back in our regular rotation over here. Lacey Gilleran, it is time to get nerdy. And I want to ask you, I know you haven't seen the new Lilo and Stitch yet, but I am also pretty sure you haven't seen the new Mission Impossible. And
I have
I've done
not.
neither. I've done neither of those as well. But people
Mm.
have seen both these movies, but it looks like Lilo and Stitch is saying, "Hold the phone, Disney, with canceling all these live action things." It just depends on the ones you make. So it looks like Lilo and Stitch is making some bank after its Memorial Day opening. Mission Impossible, maybe not so much. Maybe a little bit of the same as the First Reckoning, I believe it was called, or Dead Reckoning.
I think
So
this
yeah,
is several reasons. One, I did speak to someone that saw Lilo and Stitch and they absolutely loved it and they loved the original and they thought this one was a fresh take and they took their kids and it was a whole thing. So I think that's one piece of it, that this is a kids movie and if you look at the slate of kids movies right now, like this is it if you want to take your kids to the movies. Uh Two, I think in general, surprisingly, Disney has done an amazing job marketing Lilo and Stitch for years with doing the little teasers where he interrupts other movies or makes fun of itself. The original director, creator, writer guy is involved. I think that helps because he's kind of anchoring it to, hey, remember you liked this thing? That guy's
yep.
still involved. And then three, I think they are all kind of 2.0, 2.5. Um, in doing really good marketing, Mission Impossible has not. The only thing I've seen about Mission Impossible is that they're like, Tom Cruise is running. Tom Cruise did some crazy stunts. Look at this popcorn bucket. I've seen Lilo and Stitch so much from teasers to driving that car around. They had celebrities at Celebration interacting with him. Like they brought that puppet to
Right.
Celebration and had every Star Wars person from Hayden to Diego Luna like engaging with it. They had it interrupting fan screenings. They had him going into like being in popcorn machines at the movie theaters and like popping out and scaring people. Like they've just done such a good job with this kind of. It basically is Baby Yoda. Let's be honest. It's like Baby Yoda with a different skin that they've put this thing everywhere, and
Well,
it's worked for them.
and also the people involved with it, actors, whoever, didn't feel the need to slam the original version, which happened with Snow White. So
They did
I
not.
think
They didn't even really talk about the original. They just said like, "Hey, we like it, but this is,
nor did they
we're
need
excited
to.
to do this."
Yeah,
No.
it's recent enough and it was beloved enough that they can say like, check out this just new take
Yeah.
by a lot of the familiar people, as you said. So good stuff there. Mission Impossible, not looking like it's gonna break any records, but the machine of Chris McQuarrie and Tom Cruise rolls on. As Lacey's going to get into that in our first main story of the day.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Enough, I get the point.
So as John hinted at, we're getting into some McQuarrie territory. coming off of Mission Impossible, the duo of Christopher McQuarrie and Tom Cruise are now working on Top Gun, which I'm going to be honest, more excited for. Top Gun Maverick is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's in my top 5. Love that movie. We'll always watch it.
Top 5?
Top 5.
Wow.
Love that movie so much. Soundtrack's amazing. Every time I watch it, I enjoy it. Yeah, go ahead. Take credit for something you've done.
Can I just say that I'm happy that I made you a Top Gun fan by dragging you to the theater in Anaheim, you and James?
Top Gun 1 is a completely different movie from Top Gun Maverick. 100% different.
You probably don't see it if I don't say, let's go see Top Gun.
I wouldn't have seen it in the theater. I would have seen it anyway. So I will give you the credit of going to the movie theater. I have that poster that I'm like so excited to hang in my house. I gave you my pin though. Well, you gave it to your brother. You were like, "Can I have the print?" I was like, "No." You cannot.
What? No, you gave me. No, I had the T-shirt and the poster.
No. There was a poster and a pin, and I told you could have the pin because I didn't need it. I was like, "But you can't have the poster."
Oh, but we all got those, didn't we?
Yeah, it was a fan screening where we got.
Yeah,
both.
I think I gave my brother my poster anyway. He has it framed behind his bar because his bar is called Top Gunners.
Yeah, he has a bar in his house?
In his basement, yeah.
Do you have a bar in your basement? Is that like a Hoey thing?
I have a little bar over here. Yeah.
You guys just dreaming of having bars, being a couple dads.
That's right. That's the dream, baby.
No, I have it, and I really want to get it framed and maybe put it in my new movie room. But that being said, I will give you credit for taking me to the movie because you did take me there. However,
taking you under my wing?
No, but being at the movie, enjoying the movie, and appreciating it for the absolute perfection that it is has nothing to do with you. Absolutely not.
Fair.
That being said, me and longtime friend Christopher McQuarrie, aka the guy I spoke to once on Twitter.
I mean, I'm never gonna hear the end of that.
Now confirms that he is writing Top Gun 3. So once again, I feel like we are the happy, sad, confused after show at this point because every interview he gets is just gold. Josh Horowitz. So he was Christopher McQuarrie and I believe Tom Cruise were on Happy, Sad, Confused to talk about Mission Impossible. And naturally, things transitioned into Top Gun, to which he gave a couple quotes about it, saying that, let me get to the right part of the interview, that basically the story is easy to do. Like it's not hard to crack. The truth of the matter is none of these are hard to crack. And he said it's already in the bag and figured out, which one of the recent reports about Christopher's payday is he's making $5 million to write Top Gun 3. So I'm pumped that he's writing it because you and I, definitely, John, have been two people that are like, let's go, let's do this.
Yeah,
we both
absolutely.
watched it coming to and from Japan. I love it so much, and I can't wait to see where the story goes next. And I think that Paramount Pictures is just like, please make us more money. We would love that. And I'm just hyped that the same team is going to get involved again. I hope they get the same director as well. And that they're claiming the story's there already. It's not hard to figure out. Like, I think sometimes things get over complex.
Mm-hmm.
But I also hope that they're not dumbing it down. So what are your thoughts, reactions? Are you excited? Anything concerning you from these quotes?
Nothing concerning. The only thing concerning is it's obviously going to be very difficult to live up to Top Gun Maverick.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if they get Krasinski back behind the camera, and then the rest of the party here, and then you have, other like supplemental boost, which is, the rising star of Glenn Powell. So he'll be on the marquee now. And get all those people back involved, and obviously Maverick. So I'm excited.
Glenn Powell too.
Exactly. Yeah. And I am very excited that they're actually moving forward because I mean, they were talking about Top Gun 2 in the 90s. And I remember just talking with friends, and then eventually my brother got into it. I talking to him about it, like they got to do it. They got to have Goose's son in it, and they did do that. But then with this one, I'm thinking they're already rolling forward a lot quicker, which is good to hear, because sometimes you always hear about these ideas and they go on for years and years and years. We see it with Star Wars, we see it with anything, but it seems like they are actually in pre-production already. And Glenn Powell said we have a date not that long ago. So my thought on what this is going to be, because he said it wasn't hard to figure out, it's going to have to do with drone and AI technology in warfare, and how Maverick can still prove that having the instincts of a human being behind in the cockpit has a benefit, and like that continuing that human thread. So that's where I think they're going to go.
I think they also kind of set up in Maverick that Glenn Powell's character and Phoenix character are going to have some type of romance because they hate each other so much. It's very Leia and Han that I think they're going to get together. That's my guess. I'm going to guess it. I'm guessing it.
I can show you an ink blot test, and I can make up the blot, and you could be like, it's enemies to lovers. I just see it. It's right there in front of me. You just see, and you're all about the enemies to lovers.
Glenn Powell is extremely attractive. He deserves romance, and I will enjoy it. Although I wouldn't be surprised either if she ends up with like Miles Teller, or there's something there. You can't have this team and like have her not be involved with anybody.
I'm telling you right now, part of this story to add drama to it is Goose is going to be married with either a small child or his wife is pregnant.
Oh, you think that's already going to be like ahead?
I think for him, yeah. So that adds to the credence of maybe the romance being somewhere else. That's how you lift Glenn Powell's character up easily. You get him involved in a romance. The stakes are high there.
With Phoenix?
Then, yeah, with Phoenix. And then with Goose, it's going to be now he's the father. Like he has a kid, and starts getting you worried about what happened to his dad and stuff. I think that's exactly what they're going to do with Top Gun 3.
I'd watch it. I'm sat, as the young kids say nowadays.
Chris McQuarrie like checks out this episode for some reason, and he's like, "No, we're not doing any of that." But
how many times have we spoken with creators where they're like, "Yeah, we hear your theories," and we're like, "That's pretty good, but no, we're not doing any." Like Christopher Ford was like, "Yeah, every week you guys would say stuff," and I'd be like, "No."
Or he'd do that thing where he's like, you guys pointed out things that we didn't intend to do, but that's amazing. That
really that sun means this, and he'd be like, "No,
yeah, exactly, yeah."
Just a light on set. Yeah, I don't know. I can't wait for this. I stand by the fact that I think Christopher McQuarrie should do Star Wars, but here we are.
Yeah.
I'll take Top Gun over Star Wars.
I'm excited about it.
I'm saying it out loud.
I can't believe I just said that.
I can't believe I said that either, but I really love Top Gun Maverick. I don't think you understand. I think I love it more than you.
I'm going to clip that out.
I think I love that movie more than you.
I don't think so.
I think so. I really do. I genuinely do.
I'm vested in the story, I think.
I'm sorry, what does that mean?
I don't think because you're not as big of a fan of the first Top Gun. So I'm like entrenched. It's in my DNA. It's a part of who I am.
I didn't like the erotic men sweating in their towels, getting really close together. Just a lot of tension and staring.
Like the football scene on the beach?
The football scene isn't as crazy as the volleyball scene. They toned it down in the second movie.
Playing with the boys. That's all we do.
Okay, if that's what you want to call it. Anyway,
that's the song. Kenny Loggins, Playing with the Boys.
HBO casts. This is actually huge news, so I don't want to laugh about this. This is very serious. HBO casts their Harry, Hermione, and Ron for the upcoming Harry Potter series. This already is doing crazy stuff online. People are, have their opinions. Harry Potter is one of those franchises that has touched everybody in some way. I grew up with the books. I remember going to the Borders, really dating myself, waiting for the books to come out, would get it at midnight, would immediately go home, read it, probably on a school night, get in trouble. Split time with the book with my sister and me because my mom wouldn't buy us two. So we had to split it. So I'd read a chapter and then she'd read a chapter and then I'd read a chapter. I love these books. Not necessarily J.K. Rowling, but I do love Harry Potter. That being said, I'm very excited for this series. It looks like they're going to do a really cool, unique telling of this story. And the kids are adorable. They really are. For some reason, I'm being locked out of what this article is from Variety. So I'm unlocking myself right now. Anyway, they're very cute. And Dominique McLaughlin will play the role of Harry Potter, who looks basically like Daniel Radcliffe, if we're being honest. He's got the moppy brown hair with the blue sweater. He's rocking it.
Right.
Arabella Stanton is Hermione Granger, and then Alistair Stout is Ron Weasley. So we all knew this was going to happen. The big question is, who's playing Hermione? Because that's what people have always questioned. Because in the book, she's described as a girl with brown curly hair. And people can take that in any way that you want. And being a book, it's personal media. People kind of pick up their own image of what these characters look like. So you have Ron with the, trademark red hair. He's got kind of the Gen Z like mop top though.
Yeah,
like that,
he does. He has like the
broccoli
Logan
hair.
Paul haircut.
Oh, hate it. Hate it. And then Hermione she looks Spanish, but I might be wrong. She might be half black, half white, right? She looks like she has some type of ethnic background, which is, I think, cool. She's beautiful. She's going to do a great job. She has curly brown hair, and that's all that matters. But naturally, online people are already kind of making comments. I've seen a lot of more people be like, protect these kids than people saying mean things about children. But I personally I'm hyped about this series. Are you pretty excited, John? Are you a big Harry Potter fan?
I love the movies. I didn't read the books. I was late to the party with Harry Potter. Probably, I don't know how many movies were out when I eventually saw it, but I really love the first two, the Christopher Columbus ones. They're a little more whimsical and stuff like that. I love the dark ones as well.
Those are the ones I like, the first two.
Yeah, I just like that style. But I think they're all really good, and I like how the story progresses, and I think overall it's a really good overall story, and seeing it, the dough stretched out a bit more across the series. We saw how Star Wars did that with Andor compared to Rogue One. Will be interesting because I know one common theme with people who love books that get turned into movies is the book's better because you spend more time with this character in this scene, and it just adds to who they are and what the story is. So they'll be able to do that now. And as far as the cast, these kids look great. I hope they are treated well, and I hope they have a good experience, and all that comes with that. So yeah, I'm definitely going to check this out when it arrives. It's probably going to be mammoth because it's HBO, and HBO is still the king of long form television series.
It is HBO Max again, by the way.
It's back. Yes, it is back to HBO Max. But yeah, I think this is great. I look forward to hearing more about it and when it comes out.
People really love the third book. That's what everybody's favorite book is, Prisoner of Azkaban.
I think that was, Azkaban?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's my favorite movie overall because that's Gary Oldman in it.
I mean, that book was really good just because it's one of the, like, J.K. Rowling's writing style in general is like, it starts off slow and then you get bits and pieces here and there. And then the last 3 chapters are like a sprint to the finish where everything happens. And you're like, how did I not pick up on this the entire book? Which makes them fun to read because you feel like you're building towards the momentum of what's going to happen in those last few chapters. But Yeah, everybody likes that movie the best. I think it's a good movie. It's fine. My concern about this casting is that I'm afraid they're going to take too long and these kids are going to age out.
Hmm.
Because that's a concern with a lot of these types of projects, including Stranger Things. We've talked about it. The girl that plays the kind of snarky little sister just graduated from high school like yesterday.
Yeah, that's Netflix. HBO doesn't F around. Like HBO
Yeah.
usually like churns things out year after year, and I'm sure they took that into consideration when they
Mhm.
cast them versus when they start rolling. So I'm not as worried about that, but I understand what you mean.
That's my concern, is that I hope that if these kids are cast, they're the characters the entire time.
Yeah.
That they're not like, "Oh, we
Yeah.
need to
Yeah.
switch," or like they're in it
Oh, I
for
see
the
what you
long
mean.
haul.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, but yeah, I think that's really exciting. I think they're all really cute, beautiful children. I hope they get to enjoy their childhood a little bit, even though they're a part of something like this, and that they get treated with
Yes.
the respect
Yeah.
that they deserve, as everybody has been saying online. Speaking of, this is a wild week for news because this is like all the different kind of fandoms I'm in. All right, so then last but not least is is there a Top Gun 3 fandom? Is there a Top Gun fandom?
Yeah, it's me.
It's okay. How much Top Gun stuff do you have in your house?
It's not stuff, but I could probably slaughter people in a Top Gun trivia contest.
I think there's quite a challenge there. If we did Top Gun Maverick, I could probably beat you.
No.
Yeah. You know what I could beat you in though? Hunger Games, and that's our next story. So, this is surprising to me. They just released this book, Sunrise on the Reaping. I don't know, while we were in Japan, I think it came out. And it's the latest prequel book of the Hunger Games franchise from Suzanne Collins, I believe is her last name. Am I blanking right now? It's Suzanne Collins. She actually, surprisingly, last time I checked, lives in Newtown, Connecticut. Fun fact. She wrote the
The
Hunger
writer
Games.
of Hunger Games?
Yeah.
Wow.
She the funny thing about her is she wrote The Hunger Games, then Catching Fire, then got the movie deal, and then wrote Mockingjay. So every time she's written one of these books, like the President Snow one, which was Songbird, the one with what's her name? Rachel
Rachel
Zegler in it.
Zegler?
Yeah.
Mm.
It seems like she's writing these for the idea of there's a movie tied to it because she gets movie rights and etc. So one of the most popular characters in the Hunger Games series is the one played by Woody Harrelson, who is Haymitch Abernathy, which John has now seen the first one, so he knows.
Right.
Very much a Beckett character, I would say. So back when we were watching Solo, I was like, Beckett's very Haymitch-like. That's what I meant. He won in the 50th Hunger Games. So this book, Sunrise on the Reaping, is the 50th Hunger Games. So it is 24 years before Katniss becomes the tribute. So her first games is the 74th, Catching Fire is the 75th. These are all before that.
Do we know who's playing him yet?
We do. So, let me actually look
Did
that up.
I must have missed that because I hadn't
It's
watched
okay.
it
They
yet.
announced all the different castings that they had made. But anyway, so this book is about the Sunrise and the Reaping book, and it is his games. So all the characters that are in it are younger versions than the characters that we know in the 74th games, or they're brand new characters. So we meet Haymitch, who has been cast. I'm trying to find it here. I can't think of
Joseph Zada.
Yeah, he's relatively unknown, I believe.
He's 20 years old.
But I don't think he's been in anything crazy, has he?
No, I do not think so.
Yeah. It is going to be directed by Francis Lawrence, who did Catching Fire, which is my favorite of the movies, as well as Mockingjay and The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. So he's kind of like their director, Francis Lawrence. And it is set to release on November 20th, 2026. So Joseph Zada is Haymitch Abernathy. These are all other characters that I have not read the book yet. I haven't had the chance. So Whitney Peak is Lenore Dove Bard. McKenna Grace from Ghostbusters is Maisie Donner. And then Jesse Plemons is playing Plutarch Heavensby, who was played by Philip Seymour Hoffman in the later films, which I think is a great casting, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Elle Fanning is playing Effie Trinket, who is played by Elizabeth Banks in the later movies. And then Kieran Culkin was just announced to play, which he was rumored to play this last week. He's going to be playing Caesar Flickerman, who's the on-camera host guy played by Stanley Tucci later.
That's a really good casting too, though.
They all are. And then Kelvin Harris is playing Beatty later, who's played by, I'm blanking right now, he's Commissioner Gordon in the new Batman film. What's his name?
The newest Batman film?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Jeffrey Wright.
Yes, he plays that character later. Then you have Maya Hawke is in the film. And then Ralph Fiennes is playing President Snow, who's Donald Sutherland later.
Ah.
Who in the Songbird, Ballad of Songbird and Snakes, which has Rachel Zegler in it, who's from District 12, President Snow is her love interest, who's played by a younger person. So now this middle section, he's being played by Ralph Fiennes, who's then going to later be Donald Sutherland. They're doing this really weird. I'm not going to lie. It's kind of like this. They did the original trilogy. Well, it's 3 books, 4 movies with Jennifer Lawrence. Then they went back to the prequel with Rachel Zegler. And now they're doing kind of the 50th. Like in the middle.
Interesting.
I'm really excited to read this book. I plan to read it this summer. I haven't had a chance yet, but I definitely want to read it before we get into the film itself. But that being said, I think these castings are great. I think Elle Fanning's perfect. I think Kieran Culkin's perfect. I think the guy playing the younger version of Philip Seymour Hoffman is like insane casting. That's
Jesse Plemons,
yeah, that's Kirsten Dunst's husband, I believe.
Yes. Yeah.
All I see him now is that meme from that Civil War movie that everybody does, and it's like, so how much do you like? And it's him with the gun. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Now you just watched Hunger Games, which we will talk about in what you're watching. But how do you feel about these kind of castings? Because you haven't seen Catching Fire, which a lot of these castings fall into.
Well, I mean, I'll jump a little bit here and just say, yeah, I watched Hunger Games on the plane home. I had to finish it at home, which I did before I went to bed, I think. I only had like 15 or 20 minutes left. But I enjoyed it. The only thing that bothered me was how they captured a lot of the action scenes was just very Blair Witch Project to me.
Shaky cam. It was the biggest setback.
I said that to you, and you had mentioned like that was one of the things people complained about. I'm like, oh, it wasn't just me. Okay.
They switched directors because of it.
So I did like it. I will watch the next one and see where I go. I'm not married to it yet or anything like that, but the casting of this prequel has me wanting to finish things so that I can catch up and watch this. But yeah, all those castings sound spot on for the characters I know, like the Elizabeth Banks character, Stanley Tucci. I'm like, wow, those are great picks. We'll see about. It's hard to like match the uniqueness and the personality of Woody Harrelson, even no matter what he's playing. He just has one of those really subdued, charismatic ways about him. Do you know what I mean?
Who is your favorite character in Hunger Games?
Probably him.
Hamish Abernathy. He's so funny. He's so funny.
I'm a huge Woody Harrelson fan. So it's just like
you have to watch Catching Fire then. That is like oh, it's so good.
Oh, I plan
it's
on
such a good film.
That's the next one after the first one? Yeah, I'll watch
it's
that
the
next.
Empire Strikes Back of the series. It is.
I'll report back. I'll try to watch that in the next week and report back on the next Nerdy and Nice for that one. But yeah, this all sounds really cool. I just got to get caught up. But all signs sound like they have a hell of a cast, and hopefully it does a little bit better than the previous prequel, which I guess didn't do as well as
It did
people
not,
were
because
hoping.
nobody
So,
connected with it. Like, I
yeah.
said it when the book came out, because I hadn't read that book, was I don't need to know why President Snow is a bad guy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need that
I
story.
agree with that. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Haymitch story sounds great because you hear throughout the series, the book at least, rumblings of what he dealt with. And like his was special where they had, because it was the 50th, they had new rules and they brought in extra tributes. They brought in an extra tribute for each. Like they usually do 2. I think they did 4 for his. And it was
Well, don't
just like,
spoil too much.
there's nothing to spoil. They talk about that in the book series.
I'm not reading.
It's just okay. But anyway, each quarter quell, each type of special one, they have new rules. So for his,
Okay.
they had special rules because it was the 50th. So I understand why they wanted to tell that story and go back to the 50th because it kind of impacts then the quarter quell that Katniss is in for the 75th.
Yes. Yes.
So yes. Anyway, I'm looking forward to it, but I'm excited to discuss what's coming.
Yeah, absolutely. So let us get into trailers.
Oh god, I love that movie.
All right, we have 3 trailers to get to here. One's more of a teaser, so let's just start there. But we got Zootopia 2, we got The Bear Season 4 coming for all the awards, and then we have Jurassic World Rebirth coming to win fans back. So, Lacey, the first one, more of a teaser, just letting people know this is in existence and happening. Zootopia 2, about a 80-second clip, more of a techno song montage. But what were your thoughts? Is this a good clip? Is this enough to at least get people excited about the sequel to the first one, which made $1 billion? What were your thoughts on this clip? And where are you in Zootopia fandom?
Excuse me. I saw Zootopia. I think I didn't see it in the theaters, I don't think. But I did cry when I saw it the first time. I felt for the bunny character. She was just trying so hard to be her best, and it made me cry. Jason Bateman is Jason Bateman. They were like, "Hey man, show up and be yourself," and that's what that Fox character is. It's an interesting story, a lot of world building, and I understand why it's done so well overseas, I think, because of like cute, adorable characters are really popular over in Japan and China and stuff. Thus why Shanghai Disney has a whole Zootopia city that you can go in and like visit, and there's stores and restaurants and there's a whole ride, and it's like this whole thing, kind of like the Frozen park.
Yeah,
And it
exactly.
honestly makes you think, what are we doing here in America? These parks over elsewhere are so amazing. This teaser's kind of meh. You get a glimpse of who the villain's going to be, but not really. It's like a shadowy figure. It's nice to see the characters that we love back again. But I was saying this before we started recording, is like, this isn't a trailer. The tweet that put it out from Discussing Film was like, new trailer for Zoot. It's not a trailer. This is like a glimpse of what's to come, like hype
The teaser
piece. Yeah. I just felt like it was a waste of my time. Like, you really didn't give me anything. It's not funny. It's just like animation clips all put together to a beat.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Movie's
Sorry,
not
Disney.
done yet.
I need more.
Yeah, this is sort of the movie's not done yet. We know it's probably going to make $1 billion. Let's remind people that it's coming, and then
We need to
when
put
we're
something
ready-
before Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I've only seen Zootopia maybe once, and it was probably with my kids, and I don't know that I was paying attention that intently. But this will be a movie I take my kids to go see. What is it? Thanksgiving weekend probably. Got to make a ton of
Easy money.
I could easily see taking my kids to go see this after rewatching the first one on Disney Plus. But let's move on now. I'll probably take the reins on this one because you said you haven't watched The Bear yet, right?
I have not, and I still don't understand why it's in the category for comedy every award season and it wins everything.
Yeah, it's crazy. Maybe to just strategy and trying to have an easier path to wins. I don't know, but I have watched The Bear. I've watched all 3 seasons. It's a really, really good show. It's really heavy, and a lot of slow burns, and it gets very stressful too. There's some scenes where you're done watching and you like are stressed the hell out. So it's a
Sounds
pretty
like
intense
not
show.
for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I don't want to steer you away from trying it, but it's definitely a show you want to get through a couple of episodes to really start falling for the characters. And that's what always grabs me. So it has great characters, great cast. And this season, I feel like is going to be that tipping point for the show narratively, but also in terms of like, how long can a show like this go on? It's not like Cheers where it's like 13 seasons. We're just crushing out these 22-minute laughers for, top number 1 on NBC.
That should be in the comedy segment.
Cheers is a comedy. Yes.
Yes.
But with this, it's like, it's such a heavy show with so many emotional beats to it and so many characters that I just wonder how many seasons they're going to get out of this. And also, are the actors going to want to keep doing it? But it's at the top of its game. I still think it'll deliver in season 4. I like the idea that they've presented in terms of the restaurant, and they're racing the clock with their budget and stuff. I ultimately still think this series is going to end with him back at at a sandwich shop the way they had started off, because it'll connect him back to his brother again. And it seems like he's chasing something to prove himself as opposed to doing what comes natural to him. And I think that'll be the resolution to the story in the end. But I'm excited for it. June 25th on Hulu, The Bear. Everyone's going to be watching it, talking about it. No doubt about it. And then we have Jurassic World Rebirth. A scary trailer, bringing back some of the horror elements that remind you of the beginning of the first Jurassic Park movie. But this hits theaters July 2nd, ahead of Superman, ahead of Fantastic Four. I will say this, Lacey, before turning it over to you. Jurassic Park, I've said many times on this podcast that they lost me a couple movies ago. So I need to hear that this is really good before I even go see it. Whereas back in the day, I would be like, Jurassic, I'm there. It was like I said, my most impactful theater experience of my life was seeing one of those that sort of like burn permanent memories in your brain experience. I remember being scared out of my mind. I was 11, and that was Jurassic Park in 1993. And now they got to win me back because I don't feel the aura, the spectacle, the magic anymore. So I hope they bring me back. But what are your thoughts? Is this a good trailer? And does it do anything for you in terms of your interest in the movie?
I'm not going to lie. Every time I see this movie, anything for it, a poster, a trailer, a clip, and I see Scarlett Johansson and Jonathan Bailey, who's also in Wicked, all I see is Jennifer Lawrence and Glenn Powell every time I see that, because they were the ones that turned it down first. And everything that they're doing in this trailer just reads like those actors. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
I
see Jennifer Lawrence in the way Scarlett Johansson she's playing. And I see kind of like a nerdy Glenn Powell being like, I don't know what we could do here, but yet it's kind of an actiony smart guy.
Yep.
And I can't unsee it. Once that story came out and Glenn Powell said he turned it down and then Jennifer Lawrence turned it, I can't unsee it. That being said, I think this is a good trailer. It's entertaining. It goes back to, like you said, the horror aspect. I think people that like Jurassic Park are going to go see this no matter what, because there's dinosaurs and people almost dying. And all of us like to watch these terrible movies. Well, not terrible, but terrible situations where people almost die. There's some kind of like thrill of being scared. Like, will they die? Who's going to get out of it? What's his name is going to die. Mahershala Ali, whatever his name is.
You think so?
The guy with the beret. Oh, that guy's dead. He's so dead. Just because like the army guy always dies. The guy with the gun always dies. Always.
Clever girl. Yeah.
Yes. I don't know how I feel about like the storyline, and I've said this before, of the testing of dinosaurs, and they made new dinosaurs, and this like rancor thing gets out. I did laugh because someone pointed out on social media this week that Gareth Edwards loves putting dudes with monsters in a red room, and they showed his like 3 movies, and it was like Godzilla. What else did he do? Oh,
Darth Vader.
Rogue One, and then this, and it was a guy behind a door being like, "No!" and all these scenarios with a red light and like some danger behind the door.
Yeah.
So he must just like that. Or it just works. That's also a thing too. But yeah, I mean, the dinosaurs look great. ILM did this again, right? They definitely did, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. They look fantastic, and I think regardless of what the story is, the movie's gonna look amazing and sound amazing, and the music's gonna be top notch. I don't know if the story's there, but at the same time, does the story need to be there? Or can it just be a fun, entertaining popcorn movie for the summer? That's what I
Yeah.
question. Is like, does it have to be the best movie I've ever seen? No, but it could be entertaining, and this looks entertaining.
It does. It's interesting because it feels like it's a soft reboot in a way, because
Yeah.
the way that Jurassic World initially was like, we're gonna connect it to the original because now this is the park that he had always realized, and then they went down the whole clone rabbit hole, and they brought back the OGs for one last grasp in Dominion, and that fell on its face, and people saw through that whole charade. So then it's sort of like, well, how do we continue while sort of restarting? And it's like, we're going to call it Jurassic World, but we're going to do all new characters now, and we're going to connect it to the original island somehow. And it's like, all right, that's fine.
Well, it's not the original island. It's like a side island.
No, but what's happening on this island was one of the research facilities for the main island for
Yes.
Jurassic Park.
But then it
So
separates them, like you say, from the original movie because they're on this separate island.
Right, exactly. So they connect it because this was the place. It's sort of like when a TV show has a villain or something like that, or a movie has a villain, and then they kill that villain off, and the movie becomes a big success, and they're like, oh, now we have to introduce the guy who trained him, and he's the ultimate villain. And now it's like, we're going to the real island that matters, the one that they did the research on. Forget the first island. That was an attraction.
Forget the other labs. This is the real lab.
This is where it all really happened. This is behind the curtain at Disney when you see Mickey take his head off and hammer down a Parliament light. This is the real show. This is Jurassic. And it's like, okay, all right. And it does look great. It's a really good trailer. I'm all in on the raft T-Rex in the river.
That's
scene,
from the
'cause,
book.
Yeah, exactly. And that, that's going to be good for purists, Michael Crichton purists, but also it gives you that classic T-Rex scene that seems to be T-Rex on its own, and it's not T-Rex fighting another dinosaur with another T-Rex. It's like, give the T-Rex its moment beyond it climbing on top of the building at the end and howling at the moon or the sun or whatever, like they did at the end of Jurassic World. So that interests me. I'm not interested in Rancor Dino.
What is that?
If you can't scare me with actual dinosaurs that existed, don't make new dinosaurs. Just don't. There's no need. Dinosaurs were incredible. They're amazing
huge
creatures.
They would
that
eat in a
actually
heartbeat.
existed. We don't need mutant versions that look like rejects from Jabba's palace.
Poor guy. He's just like, my name's Stanley. Just trying to make some
friends.
friends.
Why am I alive? It's like the fly at the end. It's just like, put it to my head. Jeff Goldblum, tie that in. All right. Well, I might see this if it gets positive reaction from critics and audiences.
In the theater?
might. That's a
I'll
loose
wait.
might.
I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait till it comes out.
Me and my buddy Greg may go see it because we have this new tradition with these past few where we just get together and have drinks and roast the snot out of the story. It has nothing to do with the visual effects; those are always top notch. It's all about
It's the story, the relationships.
how dumb the stories have gotten. Yeah, and seeing like a character running away from a dinosaur but leaving her stilettos on. It's like, really, guys?
That was the dumbest thing and took me right out of the movie. And I've said this before. There is no way if you are being chased by a dinosaur, a cat, a dog, a person, a car, you're not leaving your shoes on, especially
Yeah.
not high heels like that. Like, get
But
out of here, Bryce
Trevorrow's
Dallas
like,
Howard.
but it made your hips look good, so let's just leave those on. I'm making that up, but I'm just saying, like, Hollywood is Hollywood.
I think Bryce Dallas Howard said that she wanted them on or something. It was some type of like
Really?
empowerment thing. And I was like, that's stupid. You're stupid. That's
Oh,
stupid.
wow.
About that, she is. No one would leave their
Alright.
shoes on. You're kicking those puppies
Well-
off in 2 seconds to get down the street.
Yeah, true.
Sorry.
Well, let us know what you think about these trailers. Go watch the trailers for The Bear Season 4, Zootopia 2 teaser, and Jurassic World Rebirth. Let us know what you think about our takes on them, your takes on them, and are you excited about these movies and shows to come out? But now we're going to close things out by talking about what we have been watching in a segment called What You Watching?
We can never leave the house and would just probably sit around all weekend and watch TV.
Go on.
I watched The Studio.
Oh, so good.
maybe-
Did you finish it?
Let me close out with that so you and I can talk about it quickly.
Okay.
So obviously still watching the Yankees. They're in first place. They're up by 6 games. Aaron Judge is crushing it. So go Yankees. I watched the Pee Wee Herman himself documentary on HBO Max. That was really good. I grew up with Pee Wee Herman. Like when I was a kid, I remember watching Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Like that was Tim Burton's first movie. That movie blew me away. I thought it was so amazing. I didn't know like how they did what they did, and I just really loved that adventure of him trying to. It's a guy trying to find his bike, and like I rode bikes, and they're just like
The
it was a
truck
perfect
driver's
time for
my
me.
favorite part.
Large Marge, yeah.
Me and my sisters we bring that up all the time.
Large Marge. That's pretty funny.
Where it's like,
Yeah, they do the whole
claymation.
Yeah. But
So
then
funny.
Elvira's in that as a biker chick. She's not even Elvira. Cassandra Peterson. Like it's just a really good movie.
Phone booth
Tim
scene is
Burton.
my favorite one, where he's like, "The stars at night are big and bright,
Oh, and at the Alamo.
deep in
wait,
the
oh.
heart of Texas." Because he's like,
Yeah.
"I'm in Texas." She's like, "No, you're not." He's like, "Hold on one second."
yeah, right. Yeah, it's a really good movie. The Breakfast Machine, the Mr. T cereal, the whole thing is just so good. But anyway, then Pee Wee's Playhouse and Big Top Pee Wee stuff. So Pee Wee was just like gigantic in the late '80s. And then obviously it goes through his rise, his issues, him getting caught in the adult theater. It goes through all that. He talks about all of it. He's very candid about everything that he had went through. He sets records straight on things. And the whole while they're filming his version of this, he didn't tell anybody that he was dying of cancer. So he's sort of doing this sort of farewell thing. And I think people were just saying like, oh, we're getting a chance to document this mega piece of pop culture's life story and career. So it has this like sad tone to it because I believe he recorded a lot of this stuff pretty close to the end. And there's even an audio recording that may have been like a day before he passed away or something like that. But he's a controversial figure, but also a misunderstood figure, and just a huge part of my childhood. So if you grew up liking Pee Wee Herman, check that documentary out. It's really candid and real. Sort of like think about the movie Bohemian Rhapsody, and it's the opposite of that. It tells you the real story.
You always, any chance you get to dig in, Bohemian Rhapsody.
At that and Superman 4: The Quest for Peace. Those are 2 movies I often find myself taking shots at. But and then The Studio, Lacey. So I have watched all of it, season 1. I think it picked up steam as it went, and some of the better episodes were later in the season. But I definitely have a favorite episode. But I wanted to
What's your favorite episode?
see with the auction
The golf
with the
game.
doctors. With the doctors, yes. That something about that.
Every episode, I just turn to Matt and I always go, "How's he gonna mess this up?"
Yeah. I dig the show. I think it took a little while to find its footing in the first few episodes, because at first I was like, this is sort of Curb Your Enthusiasm, but not as funny because it's not Larry David. And
It's not. It's Seth. Yeah.
yeah, so I got over that, and then I was like, it is a little bit better acted than Curb Your Enthusiasm, because that's all improv, and sometimes you could see the smirks on people's faces. Like, the acting is really good here. I mean, Catherine Hahn is
They said that
she's better than anything. I think she's better
it.
than her Agatha stuff in this. I think she was great in this.
She's so good. And she, as you noticed, they did this in a lot of long takes. No cuts.
Yes. Yeah.
Big long takes, which was
Yeah.
amazing. Technically, blocking, just skill sets all at play. Catherine
Timing.
Hahn, they said they would have the hardest time not breaking with her, and they would try so hard because they'd do these long takes, and if they broke with her, they'd have to start all over again. So she was the one that would always break her other co-stars because she was just so ridiculous and over the top.
Yeah.
And just the camera work on the show is amazing. Like the second episode where they do that shot from the car, it's Seth's car, the camera's on the back of the car, then they pull in and the camera just gets off the car and comes around the car, but you can't tell it gets off the car.
Right.
I was like, this is insane. Like the camera work is just so smooth. It's seamless. It's so good.
Yeah, it was really good, and the whole supporting cast too. Catherine O'Hara. Although for some reason, just a side thing, I don't like Dave Franco. I don't know why.
So obnoxious in that show.
But anything I see him in, I'm like, oh, this guy. Oh,
They love him though. They love Dave
You
Franco. No, I'm saying
they
that
do,
that
yeah,
group of
yeah.
people love Dave Franco.
Not his brother
They're not going to
anymore,
have
but
James Franco because they mentioned his
No.
drug dealer, but they don't mention he's not there.
yeah. And what kind of dirt does Matt Bellany have on Seth Rogen that dude is all over this
That
series?
show with the podcast and everything, I was like, what? And I remember I texted you. I was like, this guy's podcast is mentioned in the show. And you're like, oh, that's funny. And then it kept happening and then he's in it. And I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, what
How
does he know?
my two kind of top tier people in the season that like really caught me off guard were Bryan Cranston. He goes so hard in the series.
He's amazing. Yeah.
Top the statue at the end. Oh my god, I was losing it. And Ron Howard went so hard. Same with Anthony Mackie. Yeah.
Just seeing Ron Howard curse, it's just like it's like seeing Mr. Rogers curse.
And that's why it was so funny. And I was like, I can't wait for you to see this because it's like so ridiculous.
That was really cool. Yeah, no, it's a good show. I really enjoyed it, and I like that it got better as it went along. And like some of those later episodes were some of the best. So I'm excited about the future of it, because oftentimes a show like that usually really hits the pocket with season 2. So I'm excited to see where they go with it.
Yeah.
But what else have you been watching?
So coming out of some heavy stuff with Andor, my brain has wanted to turn off a little bit. So I've been tuning into the trashy Netflix stuff that I like to enjoy from time to time. First, we have Sneaky Links, which is the new show from Netflix, like their dating cinema universe, whatever.
I've heard of this. Yeah.
So it's basically they invite people to date new people at a motel, but what they don't realize when they get there is they also invited their casual situationship there to see if they have more of a connection than they let on, or they want to
I've
try
seen the
something new with
trailer
someone.
for this. Yeah.
And it's hosted by Chloe, who's one of my favorite people, who's from Too Hot to Handle, The Perfect Match. She's from a bunch of different shows, so they have her hosting it, and she says things like "Sneaky Links" because she's British. She looks adorable, shows up, says a couple lines, and leaves.
She's like, "Hello, look at all
yeah.
these links.
It is Sneaky Links. You sneaky link."
Isn't it?
Sorry,
Everyone
what?
just stops listening. They're like, F you, John.
Oh my god. I mean, it's your typical trashy dating show. And I say trashy not because it's not done well, because it is produced well. I'm saying trashy in the sense of like you get these people that are like, I'm just looking for love. I'm looking for my person. And then they're like making out with someone in 2 seconds. Or they're like making out with someone and then 2 seconds later they're making out with someone else. And then they're like, but I just really want to find that connection. And it's like, okay, bud, do you? On the other side of that scenario, I blew through this season. Season 17 of Married at First Sight, which is originally on Lifetime, but then they bring the season on to Netflix after the fact. And it is people that sign up through the show. They've been doing it for 17 seasons. They go to different cities and they sign up to be married, arranged marriage without sight. They just show up and marry the person. This season was a mess. It is the biggest mess I've ever watched of this show. And are you ever going to watch it or not really?
No.
Okay. So it took place in Denver. And in the beginning, I was like, okay, all these couples are relatively well matched, like look wise, personality wise. They all look good. And the whole season, it was just weird. The vibes were off. Like
Why?
no one was connecting. No one was working well together. No one was banging. It was very weird. It was very, very weird. Because my thought is, if you get married to someone, don't you want to see how things work? Don't you want to try some stuff out? You don't want to just, see if there's a connection or not?
Sort of like Love is Blind in a way.
Yes, except they start married instead of
Yeah.
So ends up at the reunion special, who they have this guy named Kevin do the reunions. He's fabulous. They all admit they were lying the whole time. The whole cast was lying, and they were lying from day one, and they were in on it together to lie to make sure that they looked good the entire season and that they wouldn't look bad in front of the cameras. And they said that it was their job to make sure they had the control and not the producers. So they would like go and delete diary cams. They would make up lines to say on camera.
What?
Yes,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
John, is the most wild thing I've ever seen on a reality show. I was like, what? And even the host was like, I'm sorry, what? So they messed up the whole process. They lied to all the experts. They lied to each other, and they ended up hating each other. Both sides hated each other so much that they couldn't even sit on the stage together and talk because they'd start screaming at each other. It was the messiest. It was the messiest thing I've ever seen. It was absolutely wild. And the funny thing is, you watch these shows for drama oftentimes. It was too much. It was too much drama. Not one couple made it. They all divorced. They all hated each other. They usually sit the couples together to discuss like their relationships. All the women were on one side. All the men were on the other side. Oh, it was a disaster. So if you like that, it's on Netflix. And that's what I'm watching.
All right. Well, I will not watch that, but what I will watch is the end show credits because we are at the end of the show. Thank you all so much for listening and watching and getting nerdy with us. June is here, so hopefully the weather is warming up.
We've been doing this for a year.
It's been a year, so just about an episode every week as we approach 50 episodes. So good job, buddy.
Thanks. You too, buddy. A couple of buddies and matching logos.
Couple of buddies and matching logos of our other show. But
couple of buddies and matching logos.
Eventually we have to do a recording of that song, of course. But it is all under the TRB banner, so make sure you do subscribe to us. You can start off by going to TRB Podcasts. You can find our shows right on there at the bottom of the page, but also links to our merch. We have some new stuff coming soon. Also, if you want to support our shows and allow us to keep doing our shows and grow them and all the things that come with chasing this dream of podcasting full-time, please head to patreon.com/TRB Podcasts. Tiers start at $5. You get access to all the bonus content for the Resistance broadcast and Nerdy and Nice and everything else we have going on. Take a look at the tiers. We have Discord servers. We have watch-alongs. We have bonus videos, polls, interactive stuff. It's a really good time, great community, and you're supporting what we do, so we appreciate that. So head to patreon.com/TRB podcast if you can, and support us. Thank you. And then subscribe to the show. Nerdy and Nice is on one feed, TRB on another, and of course both are found on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@TRB podcasts. Thank you all for that. Lacey, where can people find you to talk to you about really crappy reality television and all the other cool stuff we talked about today, like all these fandoms you're a part of now?
If you want to talk to an actual true fan of Top Gun Maverick,
there it is.
You can find me at Lacey Gilleran
right.
on social media.
I think we do have to have a trivia contest now. You mean this? I did the cockpit thing. All right. I am at Johnny Hoey on Blue Sky.
He can't even come back with something witty. God.
My call sign is Assassin, because that's what I'm going to do to Lacey if we ever do Top Gun trivia.
Oh, I hope people are watching the video because the face I just made was total disgust. That's your call sign?
I don't know what my call sign is yet. I'm working on it.
Okay.
I was called but Silver Fox was another one that was floating around for a while, which checks out.
Who was floating that around? You?
No, my buddy Mike.
Who's floating that around? It's just floating around, just casually. People calling me that.
It was tossed out there. It was tossed out there.
Someone saying these things about me.
It's in the zeitgeist. I can't control the zeitgeist.
I don't know who was saying these things, just floating around. Okay. Who's listening at this point? If you are, put assassin in the comments.
All right. Johnny Hoey on Blue Sky, also on X. My movie podcast, Just Like the Movies, where Mike called me Silver Fox. We just did Arnold. Matt would love it. Running Man. Great movie. And then, of course, social media, Nerdy Nice Pod and TRB Podcasts. And I have to give the shout outs to our generals and spice runners to close it out. The generals: Carmelo, John Risi, Jetta Rosewater, Frank Grande, Nick Kratz, Chris Morales, Danny, Mike Rumore, Brendan McLaughlin, Sneaky Zebra, Dave Hornack, Colin Cormier, Stephen Garrow, Sachi, and Darth Snips, and Armin Rojas. Spice runners: David Probus, Neil SHAH, Kendall Gilner, Andrew Staley, Jeremy Myers, THEFORTWORTHIAN, and Brian Smith. And however you support us, thank you all so much. Back with you on Thursday for the Resistance broadcast. Back in our regular rotation. Feels good. Suitcases are buried, but we're here with you twice a week on Nerdy and Nice and TRB. So until next time.
I'm leaving tomorrow. I don't know what he's talking about.
Happy June. Oh, because you're afraid of getting smoked in Top Gun trivia? Got it.
Okay,
happy
assassin.
June. Happy summer soon. And from Gilly and Silver Fox, we'll see you around, kids.